some of this debris to start looking for people. And, you know, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm fearing the worst here since this tornado seemed to have hit several schools. And I mean, when it hit them, it absolutely just took them away. There's nothing left. Just like Adriana's report a moment ago when we were shooting that gas station at Southwest 4th and Telephone Road just east of I-35, they found the man, woman, and the child in the freezer, and unfortunately they didn't make it. Now I-35 is shut down coming northbound at Indian Hills Road. They're taking people off there, diverting them over to Sooner Road. So Sooner Road is just a parking lot also because there's so much traffic traveling on Sooner right now. So all the side streets around east and west of I-35, I haven't been up north to find out. You probably know where they've shut I-35 down coming southbound, but all the side streets are just pretty much a parking lot due to heavy traffic and diverting this around I-35. So as we get more details, I mean, there's just not too much we can tell you anymore. You know, everything is just gone through this area. And but we'll just keep you updated, and if we hear of anything, we'll let you know. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
Jim, if you still have me, I want to ask you guys, can you show us the damage that is east of the Warren Theater? We've seen so much of the damage on the west side. We know the tornado crossed I-35, okay, and into that neighborhood, and that damage, we're getting reports of damage up all the way up to 4th Street. Yeah, there you can see it on the right side of your screen. That's 4th Street.
That's it. That's on the east side of I-35.
Right.
Now, as we follow, I'm going to roll around here real slowly. You can see it. You can see the cars spread out in that field there where it took the cars off the road there and scattered them out in the field. Now, as we pull back some more, you're going to see the path going up to. Now, this is where it gets kind of different from May 3rd, 1999. Rich, can you pan up? Just pan up, follow the path wide. There, you'll be able to see where it took more of an easterly path. Now, I'm directly north-south right now with the nose pointing to the north right now. So looking out my right-hand door, you can see that's pretty much of an easterly direction straight off to Lake Draper. And when you pan up a little more, you're going to see Lake Draper in the top of your screen come into view as it comes up here. There's Lake Draper. So just right before Lake Draper, that's where the shot we showed you, the tornado roped out and ended right there before it got to the water treatment plant there at Lake Draper. So again, there's still damage along here, but you can see where the path, it got narrow as it was really wide west of I-35. It started narrowing down as it crossed I-35 to the east, got smaller, and to where it was only maybe 50 yards to 100 yards wide at the end. But still, whatever it hit, Kelly and Amanda, it completely wiped clean. So again, this is going to be a long, really long process to go through all this damage and try to account for people and to get names, and relatives will call, and finally, people that are missing and still hadn't checked in. That's the people that are really going to be hard looking for and stuff. So, just get ready to set back, and this is going to be a very, very long process.
Jim, is that, I'm trying to get a handle on what street that is. Is that Eastern? What?
That is Eastern, and I'm flying over right now. That's going to be going north-south out my door.
I mean, there's a lot of damage on the east side of I-35.
Yeah, Eastern Avenue. Right now, we're northeast 21st Street and Eastern Avenue, shooting back to the south. There's the Rich comes on around a little more to the right. You're going to see more high school there, I believe, coming into view. Let me find out where he's shooting here. Okay, yeah, he's shooting towards I-35. We'll pull out a little bit here and stuff. That's Eastern right there. And then you're going to see I-35, Kelly.
Okay. But, I mean, we've seen so much of the damage on the west side of I-35, but the east side of I-35 took a real hit, too.
It did. Like I said, it narrowed.
Look, there's a whole neighborhood there.
This is where it crossed. This is east I-35. That's Eastern right there. I'm not quite sure what road that is that we're going to cross. Right. And Rich made a point. This is where it kind of came through before, because most of these houses are in here are brand new, Kelly.
Yeah.
But anyway, as he tracks this damage, you'll see it narrow down.
That could be 19th Street in there, bud.
We're right here at the end. It only gets to where it's maybe 50 yards wide. But like I said before, Kelly, whatever it hit, it absolutely took. There was no, let's just take the roof off, or leave the building standing. No, it wiped it down to the foundations.
Yeah, Jim, okay, that's look at that. I mean, it's just, those homes are splintered. This is on the east side of I-35. So much of what's been going on has been focused on the west side, but folks, we have tremendous amount of structural and damage and human loss, I'm sure, over there as well. So this tornado crossed right through the heart of Moore.
You see people walking down, but you don't see any emergency crews over here. In fact, I'm looking, you don't even really see a fire truck over in this area. Now, we got an ambulance right there. There's another ambulance, but that's about all we've seen as far as emergency personnel. But, with something like this and as devastating as Kelly, I mean, we're stretched to the limit. When I took off from Norman Westheimer, I flew over to Norman Hospital there, and all their ambulances had their lights flash and stuff. They were bringing people into Norman and stuff. So, everybody's just getting inundated with patients around here. So, you really can't. I mean, there's going to be some people that are really going to have hard feelings towards some of the rescue personnel or why they were slow to respond. Well, it's just a gun numbers game. It's just there's so much devastation that there's just not enough help to go around.
All right, Jim Gardner, our pilots, and Bob Mills, Sky News 9 HD, and our photojournalist Rich Kriegel. They're showing us the damage on the east side of I-35, and it is extensive. Both sides of I-35, folks. Moore straddles I-35, and the tornado hit both sides.
Cars are just flipped on top of what used to be homes in that area. And we haven't gotten word. Kelly, I know you've been listening to scanners. I have not heard of any search and rescues going on specifically in that area. But you see some of the folks there surveying the damage, and maybe they are looking for people who still might be trapped.
I think they are still going through that area because I'm listening on the scanner, and they still have crews over there. That's where some of those Midwest City crews were working.
Mm-hmm. This has been described, and we've heard it a lot, being described like the May 3rd tornado. And we've even heard people down there at Ground Zero saying this to them looks worse than May 3rd. Yeah. We've tracked it out for you.
Yeah, track was very close. I think the May 3rd was swung a little bit further north. You can see it right there. There's a good look at it. The May 3rd tornado is the green path, and as it got into Moore, it was about a mile further north and then took a turn up toward the Del City area. This storm kind of flattened out and moved more east by the time it got into South Oklahoma City and Moore. Look at that, and there it crosses I-35, but there's quite a difference in the path. But, I mean, it's...
Governor Mary Fallin joins us right now on the phone as Kelly's going to take some more notes. We'll check back in with Kelly in a moment. Governor Fallin, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry we have to talk once again about these devastating tornadoes. Looks like we're still trying to get her on the phone. As soon as we get her, we'll check back in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I was interrupted. I was listening to the Moore command down there, and it's just they're still dealing with chaos down there in bodies, folks. I mean, it's just tragic.
I don't know if you guys mentioned this, but Life Church at 7800 South Walker is a place of
it's a shelter
where people can go.
Getting word from Michael.
Life Church at I-240 and Walker, right?
That's the South OKC campus of Life Church.
Yeah. OKC campus.
A lot of churches down there are opening their doors for anybody who's been displaced.
Also,
they're right next to the academy down there. We also at News 9, we know you want to help. We all want to be able to do something. Not only are we taking donations at our studios located at 7401 North Kelly, but we're also going to be giving items that are needed. This is what you need to do. If you're at home and you are moved like we are to help, you can text food to 32333. Text the word food to 32333. What that's going to do, that's going to donate $10. You'll see it on your bill. We'll donate $10 in storm relief. Another way you can help, and this is going to be desperately needed, you can drop off gloves, boots, toiletries, shovels, trash bags, dust masks, or cash at our News 9 studios. We're right at the corner of Wilshire and Cowley. We'll start accepting those donations immediately.
Now, I understand we have Governor Fallin back on the phone with us right now. Governor, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Governor, unbelievable. It's just unimaginable that we are dealing with this tragedy like May 3rd in the same community.
It's just unbelievable, and we are just devastated by what has happened today, and certainly yesterday was very, very tough, but today's even tougher. So we're just giving our thoughts and prayers to the people in those communities, and we're very worried about what we're going to find once we get into these communities and start going through the schools and the theater, the hospital, and the homes and the businesses in this area. But this tornado could be as big as the one that hit Joplin by just looking at what the television is able to show us from the air itself.
Yeah, it's unbelievable damage. And Governor, we're in fact watching the OHP chopper right now, which is working the area. We've also heard reports that some of the National Guard members are already on the scene.
Right. I called our Adjutant General Miles Deering and asked him to get the National Guard out. We want to make sure that we get into all these buildings and facilities and these homes and neighborhoods and make sure there aren't people trapped there. We certainly want to help find people that might have lost touch with their loved ones. That's our first and foremost goal right now, is to have search and rescue efforts. And, of course, we want to secure the perimeters of these sites that have received the damage to make sure that people are safe. There's a lot of down power lines. We've had major roads that are blocked right now. I-35 is closed. I-44 is closed over by the Newcastle Airport area. There are various major streets that are closed. Traffic is a big problem. But we want people to, also remain safe that are in these particular areas, and let emergency personnel get and do the assessment of what is needed so we can get all the state resources out possible.
Governor Fallin, have you had to initiate any more state of emergencies for any additional counties?
I sure have. I've added 5 new areas to an emergency declaration. We bumped up the emergency declaration directly online on the phone, I should say, to FEMA and the head of FEMA itself. I had to verbally give emergency command orders to FEMA to initiate more federal assistance directly that will bring immediate resources into the state and allow immediate money to come in to help these local communities. This is, very expensive to undergo an emergency rescue effort, so the communities need immediate help with that. The president called me a short time ago and gave us a direct line to his office and said that he would be standing by, willing and able to send any type of search and rescue efforts that we need, or any type of other authority that he can help us in going through this search and rescue effort.
And while we have you on the phone, Governor Fallin, I know this morning you had a chance to tour some of the damage that happened from yesterday. What did you take away from that tour?
Well, we went out early this morning, and we went out to Kearney and walked through the various neighborhoods and talked to the people there. There's certainly the whole community itself was without power. And, basically we were telling them we were very sorry, that we were going to do everything we could to help them get back on their feet, but also warning them to please stay weather alert. When these communities lose their power, they can't watch the local news stations. And by the way, thank you for the great job. I can't tell you how many people told me that they were watching Gary England or some other news station, and that's how they knew to take cover. You saved lives yesterday, and I'm sure you saved lives today too. But telling the people to please watch the weather. We still have many active storms throughout the state that are very serious. Some tornado warnings that are out throughout the state, and that help is available. There are a lot of people who lost all their possessions, and we went down to Bethel Acres and down to the Shawnee area and saw the devastation in that particular area. This has personally affected my office. My scheduler lost her home and lost everything, and we've been taking up money in my office today to help her and get back on her feet.
It has impacted so many people here in our community, people that we know, our friends, our neighbors. Governor Mary Fallin, thanks for joining us on the phone.
Well, once again, thank you for your station, and thank you to your newscasters and your weathermen and all the great work you guys have done over the last couple of days.
Absolutely.
All right, we continue to monitor the situation down in Moore. We have crews, many crews on the ground down there. We continue to track some of the weather that's moving through the southern and eastern parts of the state right now. We'll check out on that in a moment. But the rescue efforts, I will tell you from listening to the emergency scanners out of Moore. 2208 Southeast 5th, 2208 Southeast 5th just now came out. Someone's trapped. This has been going on all afternoon. People trapped in bathtubs, people trapped in shelters down in Moore. This tornado hit Moore 3:15, so 2.5 hours ago, and there are people still stuck, under debris and rubble and hurt. And it's on both sides of I-35, folks. It's not just on the west side. You take the Warren Theater and you basically go east and west of there a couple of miles. You're going to see total devastation on about a half-mile path, Gary. It's an amazing and horrible sight. 30 miles was the path on this thing.
Yeah, about the length, Newcastle over to the lake. I can't remember the name of it now.
Yeah, over by Draper.
Yeah.
And it got unbelievably, it just got bigger as it approached more populated areas.
It did. Conditions were ideal. We talked about it yesterday. Today would be a bad day, and unfortunately turned out to be that way. And that's when you need the storm shelters. You need to know your safety precautions. You need to always stay weather aware. You need to know what's going on. Whether it's television or radio or your cell phone, you got to have that stuff. And it's just not Oklahoma. It is Texas all the way to the south of Canada and to the East Coast. You have these kind of days. Oklahoma usually does pretty good because people are pretty weather aware and know the safety precautions and know what to do. Let's start on the Storm Shield, guys, and we'll see what's out there. And I think I can say there's not much out there. We'll take a look at Storm Shield, except you guys down to Ardmore, Marietta area. Severe storm looks like in Ardmore area. That storm south the river. Big, powerful storm there. These are moving east-northeast, 30 miles per hour. Bit of a storm. Eastern Pottawatomie County near Wewoka. I'm sorry, it's eastern Seminole County near Wewoka, and then over toward Holden Mill and Calvin. These are not significant. Chakotah storm's quite strong, and these around Stillwater, around Sapulpa and Tulsa, not much. Stillwater, a little storm just north there. Doesn't look like a big deal. So right now, I think we're for most of the state, including the Oklahoma City area, we're in pretty good shape. I think you go west and north of Pauls Valley, and from Seminole west and north, and Stroud onto the west, and Stillwater onto the west and north, I think things are in good shape. So the stormy weather will be south central and down the eastern section of the state. And the good thing is, Kelly and Amanda, it appears that tomorrow any severe weather will be far southeast from us.
Well,
and maybe some coming in, later.
Yeah.
But for tonight, I think we're good. Tomorrow, I think we're good.
Well, we don't wish it on anyone, obviously,
Yeah.
but we don't need any more weather trying to deal with this. These emergency calls out of Moore just a moment ago. They got a cell phone call from someone who was trapped in the Green Forenza. Apparently, this person was trying to evacuate to the Moore hospital when the tornado was coming. Was going to the hospital. The tornado hit the hospital, hit their car. They're now trapped in their car, have been for the last 2.5 hours, have just now been able to get out on a cell phone and ask someone to come rescue them. So,
Kelly,
there's stories like that constantly.
I might mention, as the Sky News 9 was flying over, it looked like some EF5 damage, and you look for basically all that's left is the concrete foundation, and all the walls gone. It's really well-built big houses, so I suspect, they said at least EF4 is probably going to be higher than that.
Yeah. It does look like May 3rd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We want to check in with our Carl Torp, who has been down there at the scene of the tornado. Let's go ahead and check in with him for the latest. Carl?
Earlier, I know we told you about this search for a 17-year-old girl. What we can tell you is that 17-year-old girl was found, according to a neighbor. She's found. She was safe. She wasn't at this home. You remember we had a group of people digging for her. She was found, apparently, according to someone here. This is another search going on. The dogs are in throughout the neighborhood here, and I guess they honed in on something here. So that's why you have about 24 people here just going through the rubble trying to find whoever might be inside. And that's the situation here. I want to also pass along that we talked with an EMSA person, also a firefighter and police, and all three of them were pretty sure that every house, for the most part, had been tagged and checked just in this neighborhood here. So that's what I was talking about, the ribbon on the house. That has pretty much happened through all the neighborhoods here, all the properties. So we have kind of searches like this going on, and again, the dogs pretty much honed in on something here, and that's why everyone is searching now.
Carl,
Kelly and Amanda?
Yeah, Carl, are these people that's helping search, are these people that just live in the area? Are these people who came in from out of the area? Are they emergency personnel? Who are we looking at here?
I think a lot of people are from this area. Like, you know, a few homes in that direction sort of thing. We've had a couple people coming in that weren't here, but...
Carl, your audio's just a little bit spotty down there. We understand. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're going to try to fix it here, but...
Okay, Carl Torp down in Moore for us, and our photojournalist doing a great job down there. One thing that I do remember from May 3rd is that as they went through the neighborhoods, they had that marking paint, and they would go through and put an X on some part of the property that would show up that said, "We've searched this home. It's clear. Don't come back by here." And in the coming days, you'll start seeing little makeshift signs with that marking paint with the address painted on it, because people, I mean, that's the only way you can identify it for insurance people to come through. It's just it's a different world down there that these people are going through right now. Adriana Ivashinsky is at one of the most tragic spots up to this point, certainly, at 4th and Telephone Road, where some... And Adriana, I got to tell you, earlier in the afternoon, I heard the police saying that they thought they had maybe 3 kids at an ATM machine. I think it may have been at your intersection that were killed.
Right. In fact, that's the 7-Eleven store that we're talking about right there. It has been leveled. There is nothing left. And I've talked to people who were actually there pulling people out. One of the people who was trying to rescue these folks, he tells me that there were 3 people. I've just talked to another person here who says that they just did recover the body of the woman that we're being told died at that 7-Eleven. Still no absolute confirmation if there was a baby and a man with her, but I do know, at least through a secondary report, that a woman's body has been recovered from what used to be that 7-Eleven at the corner of Southwest 4th and Telephone Road. Now, joining me now is photojournalist Bo Turner. Bo actually went the 4 blocks into the Warren Theater where they've set up a triage, so I'm going to pass off the mic to him, and he's going to tell you what he saw.
It's very reminiscent of May 3rd. People are just shocked. I mean, there's blank stares on their face. As you go down to the hospital, about a block and a half down, you can see an ambulance is still sitting in the overhang. Cars have been pushed up against it. There's not a single window in any building. As you look back toward the southwest, I mean, it's just a clear path. You can see for almost a good half to a whole mile of nothing.
Now, we've set up a triage over there, I'm understanding. Did we see people coming to find family members? What did you see there?
It's hard to tell because there's so much foot traffic going in and out. I mean, it's just, there are literally hundreds of people just
kind of like
meandering.
This.
Yes.
I mean, people wandering.
Down at the theater itself, there are close to 150, 200 ambulances and medical people, police officers, you name it. They're all down there, and they're working frantically trying to help these people.
I know we've had some volunteers actually come up to us here at the corner of Southwest 4th and Telephone Road, finding out how they can help, and that's where we've been directing them. And Bo, was the theater itself damaged?
I can't really tell because it's so far down there. I didn't make it down in the short time I was able to go in, and there's so much to process in your mind at once. It's hard to really fathom what has happened.
I mean, it looks like a war zone out here. I mean, we've got telephone poles down. We've got power lines around us that have been collapsing as we've been standing here. So we've been really keeping a close eye on them because, of course, we don't want to get hurt out here either. And we've got National Guardsmen coming up here trying to lend assistance. We've got people coming up asking, do you know if the children that were in the daycare, are they okay? We're happy to report, yes, they are. There's a neighborhood that's right behind that 7-Eleven there. We don't know the name of it. We don't even know if it had a name. But we know that all the homes that were behind that 7-Eleven have been leveled as well. You can see there's just people walking everywhere, taking in the devastation, seeing if their family members and their loved ones and their friends are okay. I got a text from a friend of mine who lives in Moore, whose home has been destroyed, but luckily he was at work. He's okay, but now he's trying to find his daughter, make sure that she's okay too. This is what we're hearing down here in the heart of Moore. You know, tales of just horrible, horrible devastation, homes lost, people hurt, people's lives lost as happened here. So we're keeping an eye on it, and it's just, you know, say a prayer for all of these families. Say a very, very big prayer that, you know, God will watch over them. Reporting live in Moore, Adriana Ivashinsky, News 9.
It's Adriana Ivashinsky on the left at 4th and Telephone, and this is Carl Torp. If Carl can hear us, we want to go to him. They are, and we know that they are maybe trying to rescue someone who is trapped in a shelter, Carl?
Yeah, we just heard from police, and here's what's going on. And I'm going to be quiet because we were told to be quiet so they can hear for this woman who may be in a shelter in this home. That's according to police. So there's a woman possibly inside a shelter. Police say that they did hear what they believe was a woman's voice, and so that's why you have 20 to 25 people here just trying to clear whatever debris they can to get down to this shelter. And it looks like they're in what would have been the garage here, just trying to get all the little things out of there. We have 2 cars here, and there's a whole lot to get to. But again, they believe they heard a woman's voice coming from this shelter, and so they're just asking everyone to kind of be quiet, and that includes radios and sirens and that sort of thing, just so they can better hear exactly what might be coming from shelter at home.
Okay, Carl, your audio's a little bit sketchy again, but that's okay. Let's leave that shot up on the right. Mm-hmm. And folks, this is the reason, and perhaps this person has done this, and that's how they know she's there. This is the reason you register those storm shelters.
You're absolutely
is so
right.
They know when your house comes down like this that there's a shelter under there, and you're probably in it. And hopefully she's okay down there.
They have kind of an assembly line set up where one person is removing a piece of rubble and they're passing it along to the next. And they're desperately trying to get there to her if she is stuck in that shelter. I am really, really happy to tell you this. We had our first person walk in here to News 9 and just dropped off a $500 check. So we really appreciate that anonymous donation to the American Red Cross. We'll keep those dollars right here in Oklahoma to this effort. Again, you can drop off any donations to our News 9 studios.
Folks, this has been really a devastating day, and I know very few of you are just joining us, but I do want to remind you, this started at about 2:50 this afternoon with a tornado down around the Newcastle area. Our storm trackers were on it. I'm sure others were as well. David Payne and Bowcaster and Sky News 9, they tracked this thing block by block, and that's all we can do. It's very difficult to sit here and watch it happen because it's tracking through neighborhoods, but it looks like a lot of these people did the right thing and got below ground. Some people might not have been able to. Some people got in their cars and drove off, but I'll tell you, this thing tracked right across Moore, went right through the Warren Theater, on across I-35 over to Eastern, and it may have done a record amount of damage.
We're looking at live pictures from Carl Torp, who's there as they're trying to do a rescue to save a woman who may be trapped in a shelter. Let's go ahead and check back in with Carl. You have an update for us.
Yeah, I'm talking to a police officer here at the scene, and exactly, officer, what happened here, and why are we honing in on this house?
We had reports of at least one voice underneath or beside some of these cars. We're making sure that there's nobody inside trapped and trying to get down to the ground level in case there is a storm shelter that we don't know about in order to try to get somebody out.
So we don't know whether or not there is a storm shelter, but we're sure we heard a voice, maybe?
We have 2 different reports of someone hearing a voice.
And I understand you guys also got a report that there was a woman in a shelter on this road?
Correct. Correct, but we can't determine whether or not this was the address or not. They just said that there was somebody on this road, a female, who was screaming for help.
What's the game plan here? Take us through what's going to happen.
If we can, we've run a couple of dogs through here to see if we can actually pick up a scent. At this point, that's what we're trying to do. We're continuing to clear debris in front of the vehicles where the house itself would be in order to try to make sure that there's nobody trapped.
Were the dogs able to pick up on a scent? Neighbors saying yes, but was not sure. I wanted to ask you.
Well, to my knowledge, they would. So as far as someone being trapped in here, that would be good news because obviously they were able to get out.
We also have, we just got word of St. Anne's Church at, where is this, Southwest 119th May. And that's where people from this neighborhood that don't have their home anymore, they're looking for shelter. They can go there. Officer, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, everyone's kind of backed out of here, and I guess that's so some of the